Her Purple Past, Part 5. She'd 2 days doing penance, as was found in Julie's cot. She'd blamed her adolescence, plus the prioress a sot. 2 days of hailing Mary's time to formulate a plan. 2 days without the diaries of the magic of Morpan. And then it was a Sunday, and God be extra blessed, for after fumbled foreplay, she begged on tell the rest. Julie Daubeny. The jailer was abhorrent, reading nearly every day the charges on my warrant. The judgment made him bray. Kidnapping, corpse snatching, that abbess, thou ghoul. Stealing, blaspheming, arson, a jewel. More larceny, wounding, whoring the world. Murder most grueling, and grooming that girl. The court hath convicted, the sentence is fire, and as which afflicted you'll fry on that pyre. Which or which ain't, on here it is writ, whence paint with that taint, your tits deep in shit. 10 days I went pacing that cold barren cell, a flaming death facing, the awful food stale. 10 days in which spat at, yelled slut to my face, then letters from Louis freed locks in that place. Did not know how he'd found me, but did know the why. Desiring to pound me, was asked back to Versailles. And as paid he the bounty, was coaxed to comply. I imagined him harden, and flopped it to douse, missing fucks in the garden and all through his house. He'd got a king's pardon by using his clout. Louis in Paris was asking for sex. Asking was more like a plea to his ex. Pleading for shafting, but I stuck in aches. I stranded in aches and my pockets were bare, with a wayful of snakes for 500 miles there. But a debt was a debt which had to be paid, my survival in threat, unless he got laid. So I set off on foot and my conscience was clear, though the convent was soot and Isabel disappeared. I strode the road angry, enraged, in a tizzy, shabby and hungry, for I sorely missed Izzy. I sang ballads for money till my notes had a sheen, and I careful with cunny as I only picked clean. I sang and I fucked as I traded my wares, nor ever once ducked duelling at fairs. I was always the master when put to the test, as my fencing was faster than any man's best. At a cramped country fair in Soprano, the factor, I bowled off his chair, a drunken old actor. He was grinning and whooping, hair thinning and gross, with beer boobies drooping and smelling a dose. He'd leered, then he'd beckoned, then flared his hawk nose. Those few awful seconds I thought he'd propose. In tipsy condition, made worse with his warts, there was proposition, a proposal of sorts. I put up a barrier, hoped he'd not come near, as he looked like a carrier of the pox, and I clear. I erected defences, as he pissed and bizarre. He promised successes, I'll sculpt thee a star. Ma Rochelle seemed a monster, and stunk as a guff, but a genuine sponsor with no interest in muff. To Poitiers town centre, and a rat's domicile, yet my marvellous mentor trained my character style. He was once a great artist, now sullied with age, doubt ever the smartest, but to me was a sage. 'Twas too many parties with too many bands that turned him piss artist with time on his hands. I adored that old tramp, and he paid me a wage if promised I'd stamp my mark on the stage. Both strict and yet gentle, though alcohol racked, he'd seen my potential, so coached me to act. Silk skills he dispensed as he taught me the knack, though with Louis incensed I'd stayed in a shack. The Count would be tart at postponing the fling, but I preferred the art to showgoers sing. I perfected the art of all things operatic, and shrieked with a start when discovered him static. I'd found the South sprawled as in intoxicated, so oft his arse awled to a doss house donated. I swore that I'd see that nurturing soul as a star in Paris, once it under control. Thus, after 10 weeks of thespian lessons, I strode against streets armed with artistic weapons. My confidence crackled, for I had learned lots. That's likely tackled 3 rowdy rich twats. Cute cocksure heart throbs, two hooted the heckle, as one yelled, "Nay, yob, 'tis frilly with freckle." I'd opted the voyage to dress as a bloke, to hoodwink the sewage with breeches and cloak, to hope haul the ram's wool down deviant's eyes, and God willing pull a gal with disguise. The beau broke my cover, impressing his chaps. He lunged to discover, unbinding my baps. With tits all akimbo, the inn in uproar. "Mon Dieu, it's a bimbo, and how much for it, whore?" Didn't care which prick blurted, I had the red mist, stroked his face as in flirted, then smashed in my fist. Did not care who had quipped as I punched off his hat, but I fucking near flipped. No cunt calls me that! Need one in the testes, hit two with a stool, when vanquished his besties, insisted he'll duel. He implored me, then cried and pleaded desist, yet I dragged him outside, but I still had red mist. 'Twas a front, all that bluster, yet why wouldn't he fence his sport play lacklustre in strike or defence? His green eyes were glazing, but not from the booze, saith, "Thou art amazing," then started to ooze. He had pleaded in panic, "I meant thee no harm," but as I, angry and manic, knifed clean through his arm. There was mucher to do, so I galloped away, and I stole the beau's horse to treat that as touché. What were these strange feelings of fondness and guilt? In my life's card dealings, 'twas not how I'd been built. Never before felt remorse or much pity, but it spoke from the source. I tripped, touched thy titty. He'd expressed from the heart, which cut at my cynic, to turn and kick-start his horse find the clinic. 'Twas back a day's journey, there he simpered and meek, so I climbed on the gurney and fucked him all week. Louis de Loynes, my dear de Albert, now pubis scorched loins, had a smitten sweet stare, the son of a duke and a beautiful pupil, and de oozes partook tragic Louis de Crussel. My exquisite patient, his mate at times messing, trying all combinations whilst avoiding his dressing. He gave me his horse plus a silver-filled purse, then signed our divorce. Au revoir, risque nurse. I tickled his knackers and nursed him to mend, but mostly what mattered, we became firmest friends. The closest comrades with carnal compliance, if not battling brigades of the Grand Holy Alliance. Aglow with his friendship, to Rouen I trod, and met a man with a purse lipped who crooned as a god. He sung like the Almighty with similar ambition. At that very night he mentioned his mission. One night in a tavern, whilst propping the bar, was blasted by cannons. The cannon, Gabriel Thevenard. Like there was an earthquaker, all gunpowder had blown. This son of a baker was the best baritone. The saloon sat in silence at the ends of a verse, and whence came to climax I thought I would burst. This here was my ticket to glory and fame, so he could stick it, though pudgy and plain. Pudgy and plain, yet a wit and gallant, whose voice was champagne as in sparkling talent. He bid a good night at his army of fans, then to the city of light in the mourners per plans. We shed my great steed for miles up the track, for what felt like a Swede stabbing into my back. A fairy tale couple, we trotted in song, else a special cuddle, then frolicked along. Was knackered that stallion as moseyed a mare, it deserved a medallion for taking us there. We rode into town as gods in Greek fable, but the horse looked a hound and needed a stable. But I didn't dismount my poor gentle pet, as I went see the Count to settle the debt. Rode off ride the Count, left Gabriel Pique on my miserable bout at l'Académie de Musique. I gave the horse hay and Armagnac oats, then learned later that day Thevenard had the votes. He was in the Academy, and then the bombshell, and he boomed the news happily. You are in it as well. He'd passed, then insisted that there'll be no show unless I'm conscripted. I'd gifted a blow. With the aid of Bouvard, with one or two druids, a membership card for trading our fluids. The Royal Academy, though both intervened, fulfilling my fantasy, and I still 17.